Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Age of Empires 3 with me, BTM. It has been quite a while, but I am here, I am back, and I brought you what I thought was a pretty good game. It was my first game back in quite some time, but I actually played pretty well. Before I started this game, I went on against the computer, I practiced a few hotkeys. I learned the hotkeys for like house and market and blockhouse. All very mundane but important hotkeys to learn. Learned it, so I thought, okay, you know what, maybe I can get back into it. And so I hopped online, found this guy, and here we have a one-on-one on Decan. He is playing French, I am playing Russian. Now, him playing French is pretty obvious. That means he'll either be Musk Husk or most likely Expo Pike. Me being Russian means I'm very likely to do Strolets, all that good stuff. Now you may notice, of course, I scrolled through my decks for a bit. I didn't know what I was looking for. All that to say, this is going to be a good game. I thought this was a really exciting game. No spoilers, but it was a very, very back and forth game. You'll notice there I put my market. I'm like, ooh, I'll put my market between my mine and my building. I'll be all defensive. But in reality, I am so freaking rusty this game. It's not even really funny how rusty I am. And I don't mean to say I play poorly, because I think I actually do a fairly decent job. But I definitely felt like I wasn't living up to my potential. But then again, I've never really lived up to my potential, because I've never really been able to play that much. So, whatever. Anyway, I spent some time here doing some futile attempts at herding. You notice I kind of like walk my villager around as if I'm going to be able to actually do anything. But of course, because this is an Asian map, Asian herds don't move at all, so it's no big deal. I do choose to buy hunting dogs right away. I'm not usually one that's big on the market upgrades, but I thought, you know what, why not? We can definitely rock those a bit. Hey, look, hands. Woo! Anyway. Sorry, this is my first time doing a webcam video, so be sure to let me know in the comments if you like the webcam layout or if you like the background. I wanted to be able to work in my webcam, maybe up the production value just a little bit, also give you guys a chance to see what I look like. So if you don't dig it, let me know and we can figure something else out that's much, much better. Either ways, there I am herding my second herd towards my town center. I think I am going to age up with 13 or 14 villagers. Currently I'm sitting on 11, and I'm trying to figure out at this point, like, alright, you know, we'll automate these villagers so they go hunt there after they eat that deer thingy, and then we'll automate those villagers and it'll all work out. And hey, you know what? No big deal, right? But I ended up kind of distracting myself, and then here's the thing. I start jamming. I'm like, alright, I'm going to get to 800 food, and I'm going to jam that age up to second button. It's coming soon, actually. I shouldn't get ahead of myself. I'm still treasure gathering. I do like looking around the rims of the map on Decan, because I feel like that's where all the good map treasures are. And is it even Decan? Is it Decan, Decant? I don't know. Anyway, watch this. So I'm like jamming on it, and I try to like send some villagers to go into my town center. I'm like, alright, they'll eat that animal, they go in the town center, and I accidentally clicked the villagers I was making. So I wasted all that time, didn't get my 3 extra villagers, and that kind of puts me in a rock and a hard place to begin with. It's like, holy shit, I start the game, and now I'm already down by 3 villagers, because I'm a moron. So life, it can be hard for me sometimes. I am, of course, still working on getting that second herd to me. I then decided, I think, to send that villager up to go build my forward blockhouse, because why the hell not? Let's get some shit on the road. I'm going to queue up more villagers. I did put most of my villagers onto wood. I think I have a 5-6 split, if I can tell correctly. And at this point, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I picked my generic deck, which I didn't think was a very good one. I didn't know much about it, so I was like, yeah, you know what, we'll pick this deck, we'll see what's going on. I choose to take this moment to peek at his deck. I see nothing interesting, just a lot of crates. A lot of crates, which kind of surprised me. I felt like France had a lot of better options besides crates for colonial shipments, whether it be units or upgrades. I don't know. I know they have a really good Hussar deck. I don't know if you'd go Hussar against a Russian player. I mean, I guess you're just facing this possibility of a musket spam, right? But no big deal. All that to say, he does grab the trading post, the smaller of the 2 trading posts. Now, this is what's interesting. There's a bigger trading route, the smaller trading route. I feel like in one-on-ones, you should generally try to take the bigger trading route first rather than the smaller one. I don't think there's a need to go grab the smaller trading route. But no big deal. I'm building my blockhouse. It won't be done by the time I age up. I think it's supposed to be done, but again, a little bit rusty, out of practice. Also, I did buy gang saws and have that coming that way. I have the 10% or 5% wood upgrade gather rate, because why the hell not? I sent 5 Cossacks as my first card, and this actually is probably not that smart. I mean, if we think about him, he's playing as France, right? Let's look through the cards he can send. He can send I believe Musketeers, he can send 8 Expo, he can send 3 Hussars. Now, unless he sends 8 Expo, really all of his shipments that he has sent are better than mine in terms of one-on-one melee. So, I don't know if sending Cossacks was a better choice. Am I correct? Yeah, no, his units would be better. Think about it. Or I don't think France gets musketeer shipments. Oh my god, I'm so freaking rusty. I'm sorry. Okay. I'd like to say, if you sent Hussar first, his Hussar would probably beat my Cossack straight up. And speak of the devil, there come the Hussar. But I'm going to pop out the Cossacks at his face anyway. But wait, I forgot to send my home city waypoint. So instead of being able to easily trap and kill those 3 Hussar with impunity, instead they're just going to run around and scout a bit and see that I have this very awkwardly placed forward blockhouse. And they're going to go for the treasure instead. And I thought, you know what, that's actually really clever. If he's expecting me to put on pressure, which he is, he's built the wall, he's built the stable a ways back. If he's expecting a lot of pressure from me, then all of a sudden we kind of create this situation where, yeah, let me use my 3 first Hussar to go get some really valuable treasures, because you're not going to get fast pressure on me anyways, because I can stall you with my wall and my defensive buildings. And we're actually going to see later in the game, and it's not a huge spoiler, that he does send 2 towers. Now, every expert in the community, every good player in the community hates a 2 tower shipment. Being the noob that I am, I love the 2 towers. I think they're really defensible. I love having the waypoints to drop stuff off. But that's a style preference, not necessarily a good one, and you'll see it this game. Maybe my style's not so good. Although, spoiler alerts, maybe I win, maybe I lose. You'll have to stick around and see. Anyway, he's on top of business, he sees me coming, and he runs back into his town right away. And I always feel like that's a mark of a good player. If you notice that cavalry is running into your town, I never freaking notice. I'm just sitting there like, having a good time, and then I look and half my villagers are dead. Like, without fail, every single game, it happens. So, you know, whatever. I do use my hotkey there of, my hotkey that allows me to build houses without having to find the house button, and my goal is to be a really hotkey player. By the way, my goal is to get to the rank of captain by the end of this summer, so the series officially is going to be called Climb to Captain, and we're going to see if I can indeed get to a captain. I don't think I'm good enough, and I'm not good enough because of moments like this. He gets his 8 Expo men, he gets his Hussar, and he just kills my army and separates, and I end up running away there. I chose to save my whatever Hussar I could rather than stick there and fight it out, and I don't know why. Well, I know why. I didn't think it was a good idea. Now, because I had seen some muskets up there, and because I have seen the stable, I know that the only crossbowmen he's going to be building. By the way, that's my dog if you can hear it. Really sorry. I do know that the only crossbowmen that he'll be building or will have, or will be from his home city shipment, so I'm not worried about it. But at this point, I've thrown my army away. I have no good prospects. His score is leaping mine. So I'm like, you know what? I have some extra wood. Let's go build a freaking trading post, because trading posts are OP, and I love trading posts. Let's circle around and get some pressure on him. Let's see if we can make some more units, and let's get this game on the road. Why not? We have nothing to lose at this point. We're in some bad shape. And then I hear an alarm bell, and what do you know, half my villagers being killed. Because like I just said a few minutes ago, what would this game be without me losing most of my villagers? I just don't pay close attention to the minimap, which is probably my biggest failing actually as a player, or one of them. That, not knowing hotkeys. Because I feel like strategically and strategy-wise, I'm actually, I think, one of the better players. I'm pretty creative, I'm relatively good in the flow and the pulse of the game. I just don't have a good enough mechanics, or understanding the mechanics, or bother of the mechanics to do it. Also, my actions per minute's abysmally low these days. So, like, literally, it's like I click, I think about it, I click. Nothing dramatic at all. But at this point, I'm down to, like, practically no villagers. I really have no good prospects of getting back in this game at all. I did build that trading post, but whatever. I also kind of ran into his town, killed a wagon, and ran out. But at this point, there's no reason why he shouldn't just come steamroll me. I have very little unit manpower. Now, I did send 13 Strelets. I'm going to send them up to my musketeers. I don't think it's a good point in time for me to have my army separated. You generally should never have your army separated to begin with, because let's say you have 20 units and the enemy has 15. Well, if he kills your 15, or if he kills your 20 units in sets of 5, he won't take many losses, and he'll kill your far superior number of units with less, because he's eating them one at a time. Well, considering that I know I have way less units, and considering that I know that he's raiding, I was kind of a mentality that I kind of need to keep my units grouped together. With that being said, now that I'm building trading posts and I see a Hussar run by, I think, you know what? Let me go there. I need to get my all my units, and I need to grab some more trading posts. I do get a few free shots at his Hussar, and I was really surprised that he chose not to engage me there, because he had a much bigger number arrangement. So I'm guessing he was in automatic mode. Now at this point I'm thinking, alright, you know what, he's running away. I'm getting a little bit of mass up. Not a good mass, don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh my goodness, look at my big Russian mass. I mean, any pro player at this point would have, what, 50 units or more. I'm not horrible, but I've definitely lost 10, 15 units I don't need to. So I think, you know what? Let's get another trading post. Why not? Trading posts are so freaking OP. And at this point, I decide to go full troll. I'm like, you know what? He's running around with Cav. I'm going to freaking wall everything off. I'm sending 700 wood. I have 600 wood as another shipment. I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to wall absolutely everywhere I possibly can, and then after I do that, I can just sit back and try to strike, or at least slow him down and know where he's coming from. Doesn't mean I'm going to be able to beat him, but I thought, you know what, let's be a little bit annoying, because if I don't at least have knowledge of where he is and the ability to stop him, I have nothing, like literally nothing. He'll have a military advantage, he'll have tactical advantages, so this was my kind of way of saying, screw you, let's get some walls on the map, let's get some line of sight, let's hinder your mobility just a little bit. Now, if you look in the mini-map, he is kind of coming in, I believe in the bottom left right there to raid me just a bit. Oh, no, he's not, never mind, I lied. I don't know what I saw then, never mind. At this point, I'm gathering some gold. I'm going heavy on the muskets. I've kind of realized, like, oh, he's going Hussar and not changing. I should be going Hussar or Musketeers and countering them. Now, this was kind of a nice little moment. He kind of gets caught running around, and I don't think he realized I was there, or I think he just thought, oh, I'll ignore him. So he ends up walking right by me, and walking, ironically, right down to where my wall would have been. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's just build some more walls. The good news is for him, he has all these units, but he can't really capitalize on it just yet. Plus, watch, as he starts to circle around, I can take the shortcut and get straight into my town way before he does. Now, this is interesting to me. He gives up here, if you notice, with his bulk of his infantry, and he walks him away elsewhere. It's as if he said, oh, I don't even know where that wall goes. I'm not going to bother. So I was kind of laughing like, huh, I didn't even have to build a wall. I just had to make him think there was a wall. But then he runs away after he probably should have seen that the wall didn't exist, and goes instead to siege down a trading post. And I'm like, alright, whatever. I'm going to go build on these other trading posts instead, raid you a bit, and build more walls elsewhere, since he didn't really handle that wall well, given his mass. I felt like he should have tried to engage or push into the town, or gotten his mass unified. I don't know what he should have done necessarily, but trading posts aren't really putting a lot of pressure on me at this point, because he needs pressure. His score is a lot greater than mine, but the Russian economy is kind of like a snowball. Ha ha ha, Russian snowball, pun pun pun. The Russian economy, though, does tend to pick up steam. I build villagers in 3, we take longer to get our batch units, our units are cheap, but once we get an economy where we can just spam out massive amounts of units, he could find himself in trouble. Plus, I've been steadily, quietly making units non-stop, so I think that is going to kind of put him at a disadvantage. Now, at this point, he's destroyed 1 trading post, and I'm not really in the mood to let him destroy more, so I'm going to try to engage him here. Now, this is a much bigger army that he has compared to mine, and better units as well. So if he chooses to march forward, I am absolutely muy bueno screwed. And so I think, yeah, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have engaged. But he doesn't chase me down, and I'm not sure why. I don't know why he prioritized that trading post, because now I have 10 more strelets to pop out, 5 more musketeers coming after that, 5 more strelets after, or 5 more, or 10 more strelets after that. I'm just spamming units now with impunity, of course, and I'm going to start preparing them to come to my town center, knowing that he's going to come. And I'm thinking, you know what, I got some resources. I'm going to grab these trading posts, and I'm going to upgrade them, because I'm running out of resources. And I have to say, trading posts are so OP. Easily my favorite investment in the game. I love trading posts. I think they're so overlooked for their potency. It's an extra 100 resources every few seconds or so. I'm not exactly sure the exact mathematics. I just know it's a ton, and I try to use it. I then send the card that allows me to upgrade my Strelets. I realize if he's going to go heavy on the Musk, I'm going to need to start rocking the Streletskis. So the Strelets are coming in, and by now this point, I will officially be able to block off that little section of my town and wall it up. Let's see what else we're going to do. More walls. And this was the other interesting thing here. I didn't, like, just spam walls out at once. I gradually added them segment by segment. So this really was a situation where if he had added any kind of decent pressure, I would have absolutely been killed. I think I kind of got lucky here by the fact that he wasn't up in my grill, rather than me playing particularly well, because this shouldn't have been too hard for him to kind of stop me and get me down. But nonetheless, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to be thrilled that this happened. Now, if you look at it from Green's perspective, he's killed a lot of villagers. He's killed 400 wood worth of trading posts. but he's engaged me a few times and won those skirmishes, but he's never really done a death blow. It's just kind of been like, oh yeah, I have this bigger army, and I'm not really doing anything about it. And at this point, I'm kind of realizing that, so I'm like frantically trying to get walls up and everything built basically as fast as I can and get away with it. Now this is where it's interesting. Alright, so I'm about to have him completely walled off from the plateau. I don't have him walled off from the bottom of the map yet, but I have him walled from the center plateau with all the resources there. And I felt like this was actually going to put me in a really good position, because he's going to run out of coin at some point and need to push out to get more coin. So I was actually feeling pretty good about this. I'm like, if he's going to sit in his base, that 5,000 gold is going to run out pretty soon. And when that gold runs out, I'm going to come down there, or I'm going to still be able to make units, and he's going to have to switch to plantations or have to switch to Expo Pike or something. And at this point, I had a good mass. Great mass? No. A passable mass? I sure thought so. I looked at my mass and thought, you know what? I think it's actually pretty decent. Now, I put that very tiny segment of wall down there solely because I want to be able to use it as a benchmark to wall off the rest of the bottom of the map. Sorry for being derpy. I want to use that to wall off the rest of the map. So I put that down there so I can get a villager down there, build something, and then plot out the rest of the wall once I have some line of sight. I am putting gates around in various places. Yeah, it's a lot of wood cost for it, but I did want to be able to walk in and out without any problems. I didn't want to be in the middle of the battle trying to figure out why I couldn't move place to place. And this is strange. Look at him. He's freaking trying to wall. That to me made no sense. Why would he be walling back? I'm no threat to him. I'm a crippled Russian. He had me in a vice grip and chose not to do it. And that's kind of his failing. And I don't want to be a dick about it, but when you have somebody on the rocks, you don't want to like overcommit and lose your army to town center fire, but you don't want to sit back to the point where they start walling up freely and taking map control. At the very least, he should have kept me in my little base and corralled me, because now I'm just kind of running around having fun, and he's having to react. Now this is where things get interesting, because he has had an army superiority this entire match, and now this army superiority is going to come to bear. I am going to engage it. I felt pretty good about my chances just because of the sheer amount of units I had, but he's got in H3 now. He'll have musketeers, he'll have skirmishers. There's not a ton I can do despite having a huge mass of units, and the second he gets falconets out on the field, I'm screwed. But he burns down my wall and runs away, which means one thing: falconets have to be coming. So I desperately need to get the hell out of there. But at the same time, I also wanted to rebuild my wall, so I was kind of torn, like, how do I stay pushed forward without like losing ground? What do I do? I'm also rebuilding trading posts, and I thought, you know what, this is a great time to age. I'm sitting on a lot of resources. He's being pretty cheeky. He doesn't look like he's aging or going to push, and I do choose to fast age, and here's my reasoning. I have some really good H3 shipments. I have 3 and soon 4 of the trading posts. I will get my H3 shipments really fast when I do hit H3, and I will be able to drop them off to my forward blockhouse. So I thought, you know what, it's worth the investment to pay for a faster age up rather than a slower age up and get soldiers or resources normally. Now that may not have been smart in hindsight, because my H3 units don't make a huge play just yet. Actually, they do. Watch, because I'm in this massive fight, and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think I'm going to win this. Now, I am ordering 10 more Strelets. I am going to send 13 more Strelets beyond that. So I will have 23 Strelets popping out of my blockhouse as soon as possible. That is if I do send the city waypoint, the home point shipment. But I do have the ability now to pop out a lot of units on the field of battle relatively quickly. Now, again, I'm in some trouble here because my economy can't really afford to spam. And if I looked at this battle here and thought, shit, I am so done. I don't see how I win that battle. I don't see how that battle at all is favorable for me. So that was definitely a little bit of a bummer. But you know what? I'm going to keep popping out villagers. I still have walls everywhere. He doesn't seem to be overly aggressive. I'm upgrading trading posts. And my thought was, if he decides to push through the middle of the map in a big way, then that can buy me the time for my trading post to get resources and make a map and harass him. But he chooses not to push forward instantly, and that really surprised me. And then he does push forward. He has bought veteran musketeers, which means they are vastly superior to my Strelets, but sheer numbers. Now I'm going to ship 2 falconets, and I'm thinking, alright, wait a minute, I have almost all my trading posts upgraded. I can start putting these on resources, and I believe I am very, very soon going to. By the way, at this point I thought for sure I was dead. I was looking at these numbers thinking, yeah, there's no way I win that. It's time to prepare to run elsewhere. I don't know why I was so preoccupied with walling that side down, but I kind of pictured myself running there to build a town center after my town got destroyed. I was like, shit, that's going to be where I'm going to run to. I bet there's elephants and gold and maybe a good treasure down there. At this point, of course, I'm getting shit-faced on by his freaking skirmishers and musketeers, but whatever. 10 more strelets come out, and I'm thinking, alright, we'll pop out the falconets to the other side, and I accidentally popped them out the wrong way. I popped them out in front, which was horrible. I only am able to kill 2, but he chooses for some strange reason to retreat. I think he could have killed those falconets if he had gone into melee mode and just charged straight forward. So I'm not complaining. I'm thinking, shit, yes, that's great. But I thought for absolute freaking sure I was about to get killed. Now, here comes some hussars, so I'm thinking, alright, we're going to hide my falconet behind the blockhouse. We're going to pop out musketeers in front of them, and hopefully we're going to be able to protect them, because we cannot lose these falconets. His infantry at this point has gone from much better to vastly superior. Superior might be the word of the day, I'm very sorry. But we need to get some units out to protect our cannons. Those are our game-winning condition. Shredding up his infantry mass with cannons will allow us to win. I do switch one of my trading routes to food. I'm in the process now of upgrading the second one, so now we can really start getting a lot of food out. I'm thinking, alright, I have some wood, let's get a second blockhouse going. And you know what? We're going to wait till he pushes out again. He has an economic superiority, or he should, except that he sat in his base. I don't know how much gold he has left, but I do know that I have most of the map under my control, so I still have most of the hunts, most of the herds. I haven't bought my market upgrades, so that is a little bit sloppy, but I do think I have a really good chance, a really good potential to really kind of give a death blow. And this was awesome, because he comes to run around with his huge, massive cav. I have a bunch of musketeers that happen to pop at that time, so his cav run around, running, taking a lot of damage, not doing much damage back, if any. And that's a big win for me. Hussars are about 200 resources ahead. Well, I guess 2 heads, right? Because there's a horse head and a rider head on each. Now that's bullshit. All right, but they're 200 resources a unit, 120 food, 80 gold if I remember correctly. So any damage I get on them is vastly superior. And at this point, I'm thinking, all right, I now will have the ability to more or less spam out units. I don't think I need to play cautious anymore. So I decide, I believe, right now to, well, wall more first off. But I decided to put those onto food, and I'm thinking, you know what, it's time. I think at this point he's being so trepidatious. He isn't massing well. He's being cowardly. I have 2 blockhouses up. I'm getting some upgrades. I honestly thought with veteran musketeers and all my trade routes that this is a time to push. I'm at a point now, I think, where I can make units non-stop. I can afford to lose as many units as I want and keep pushing in. So I'm going to use my cannons, and I'm just going to slowly start creeping and hopefully maintain a good sizable mass. I'm putting a lot of villagers on coin because I have so much food being subsidized from my trade route. And at this point I'm thinking, you know what, this is kind of funny. I can't believe it. I am expecting a big mass, maybe a big mass of falconets or something from him. I don't know what he's doing, but it was so strange that he didn't push out more aggressively. I am, of course, trying to keep my army relatively far back. I don't want him to be able to flank me with cav, but again, I have friendly walls behind my back, so I'm not too stressed out about it. I did pop myself there, which was kind of a disappointment, because I felt like I'd done pretty good this game without doing that, but no big deal, and we're just going to creep on forward. Now, this is a little bit interesting. We're kind of creeping into his base like a dagger, like literally through the middle of his base, which means he's got a lot more stuff built on the flanks, which means we kind of could end up in this little bit of a surrounded environment as opposed to pushing in from an edge. But I didn't mind. I thought, well, if we can take out his main town center, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And at this point, of course, I'm letting my cannons do their job while I try to keep my musketeers from dying sensibly. Now, the France civilization can build Gurdain cuirassiers. I don't think that's how you say them, but that's how I just said them, so I'm sorry. France can build Gurdain cuirassiers, and they will shred through my units. So I am aware that I'm going to need to keep a lot of units close by to try to beat them by sheer numbers. I'm going to need to try to play smart here. So at this point, though, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm going to destroy the blockhouse, and I'm thinking, is that really all there is on the way to his town? Like, or his TC? All there is nothing? So we're going to creep up just a little bit. I'm trying to make sure, of course, they don't stop firing. And I'm thinking, holy crap, where the hell is his army? And this is something I don't understand. You got to know the flow of battle. I mean, you really got to know, like, okay, Can I come win this? Can I not win this? And in this case, he had several points where he could have won it if he pushed, or at the very least could have caused me into making game causing blunders if he had been aggressive. Instead, he allowed me to sit without any pressure and do my own thing, and that definitely made me a little bit better. Now, by the way, you may notice that I did get some opportunities on the field. Those were just mainly for fun. I thought, why the hell not? And at this point, here we go. This is the battle I expected. This is the battle I wanted. Huge, massive units. But as you can see, he has culverins on the field, and he took out my cannons long before I even saw them coming. Now, I decided at this point to build a church, and the reason why I decided to build a church is I wanted to build the training fast button. I didn't realize it was only available in the 4th age when I put it down, so I was like, you know what, let's get a church. In hindsight, a 3rd blockhouse at my forward base would have been much more useful, but I thought for sure I was going to lose this battle too, and instead it looks like my mass was large enough to the point where I'm holding on. Plus, he didn't snipe down my falconets with his own falconets, or my field guns with his own field guns. He sniped them down with culverins, and while that made the sniping of them down easier, it also meant that culverins aren't very good versus infantry, so it kind of gave me a position where his cannons survived, but they're not the kind of cannons that can shred up my remaining army. And so now I'm in a spot where I'm still in his town with a lot of units, and he's kind of screwed. And yeah, sure, he's got skirmishers and better musketeers, but he doesn't have a lot he can do about it. And here I go to click on the button, and I can't. So I was mildly disappointed, but no big deal. We're going to take out that town center, and at this point, we're just going to start pouring units into his town. And the game will more or less be me pouring units into his town until I kill him. So I thought I'd take this moment to just say a few quick thoughts. First off, I'm sorry I dropped off the face of the map. My schedule this fall has looked like this. I get up at 3 a.m. every day. I'm going to make a separate video, by the way, about this. But my schedule this past fall, was it fall? This past spring. My schedule this past spring and has looked like this. I get up at 3 a.m., literally 3 a.m. I go to work basically in the middle of the night. I work at a TV station until 9. I then go to school all day long. I'm a full-time student as well. And then once I'm done with school, I go home and I do homework, or I go work a second job at the uni I go to. I work with their sports crew that films events. And so I would work sporting events too and be up really late again, sometimes going to bed at like 10 or 11 and then getting up at 3 a.m. again. So all that to say, I'm really sorry video stopped, but I literally was getting like 30 minutes of sleep a night. Well, not 30 minutes. Okay, I exaggerated. I was getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night tops. I was exhausted. I had no time to do anything, not reading books, not doing anything I wanted to. Well, I was doing stuff I wanted to, but very, very little. Social life suffers too, right? Because it's like, okay, I want to go to work, I want to go to school, I still want to have my friends, because all the friends are like, oh my god, I want to go do this. And so, many times it's like a Monday, Tuesday night, hey, let's go get some food or something late night, I'm hungry, and it's like, oh my god, I gotta go to bed, or I have to choose with friends. Most of the time I choose friends, because it's like, I love work, but it's like, how many times are you gonna hang out with friends and gonna do all that stuff? So I've been exhausted, and so I've been having to strategize or prioritize the things I want to do in my life with the time I have, and I haven't had much time. So again, YouTube's the thing that gets cut out, and it bums me out because I now work in broadcast television. I write my own material as well. I love this. This is the stuff I love. This is the shit I dig. This is the shit I know how to do now pretty well. I mean, I still have a really shitty setup, but I've worked with professional level equipment, and it's awesome. But it's like, I wish I could do more of my own YouTube material and make my own custom content, make my own custom skits, do more gaming videos, and I intend to this summer. And I got a much better fall schedule that I'll tell you about, but I couldn't do it this semester, and so I need to apologize. Please don't hate me. Please don't love me or dislike me. Please love me. I want your love. I desire it. But it's like, I had to pick. I had to do life. I had to get a job. I had to get a job and go to school. And this, even though I make a very tiny amount of money off it, I don't have the time to invest in it full time. With that being said, my summer, I'm still working my 3 a.m. job, but I don't have classes, so I'm doing my own pursuits as well and hanging out with friends, but I definitely have time to make 3 or 4 videos a week. And in addition, this fall, I'm only going to have all my classes on 2 days a week, so I will have time to get my videos done. And the reason why this works is because, and I'm going to explain this in another video that'll probably be the exact same thing. So I'm sorry if you watch both, but you're the fucking best. What can I say? And I wish everybody was like you. But let me just say that the reason why it's so exhausting to work my job is because it's at 3 a.m. So it's like, alright, it's only 3 to 9 and then school. And it's not like I'm lifting heavy boxes or digging ditches. But it's because it's so early and I have to stay up so late, it makes me tired the rest of my day, which then slows down everything else I need to do through the day. And then so I don't get a chance to get a nap either, as stupid as that sounds. So it's like I get up at 3 a.m., I'm at work, I come back, I go to school. Well, my schedule this fall is going to allow me to get up early, go to work, come back, get my nap, and then do the rest of my day as if I was a normal person. I found that I can run actually off of 4 hours of sleep now pretty dependably. Not amazingly, but relatively dependently if I get a good nap. If I get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep and an hour or 2 nap during the day after my shift, I'm completely great. So it's not bad. It's just, you know, it is life, and that is what life is. So all that to say, if you are still watching me, I want to thank you for watching me. You guys are the best. We are going to have a Sun Tzu's quote at the end of the video, and we're going to stick around. I'm really excited to do YouTube again. I'm really excited to keep it up. I have some subscribers, not as many as I could have had, but I'm not doing this because I want subscribers. I mean, I do want you guys to watch and enjoy my content, but I'm doing it because I love it. I mean, if you guys remember, I started watching YouTube over a decade ago, pretty much. Almost a decade ago. No, like 8 years ago. 2008, 7 years ago. 2008, 2007-ish, like right when YouTube started to get big, like when some of the first LPers came on, that was when I got into like watching it and like watching these people do it. I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. Someday I want to do it. And now, of course, I've been late to the show. When I came in 2012 or whatever to YouTube, like to make my own content, I was late. You know, people have been doing it for forever, but I was still thrilled to have joined. But I'm still just grateful to be doing it. I'm doing it because I enjoy it and love it. So I'm sorry that there was a lapse in content. We're gonna keep the content up. I'm also sorry that we never did Stronghold Crusaders. I enjoyed the game, but it was a lot of effort to learn a new game. I didn't have the time. I do so much shit. You would not believe how much shit I do. So my apologies. But it is sure great to be back here doing this, I think. Hopefully you think so as well. Hopefully you're not like, damn, this stuff sucks. But there you go. So this wasn't a great match. I'm not that good of a player anymore at this game. I'm going to need a lot of work if I'm going to get back into game quality level. But I think I can do it. I think I will be able to do it. And I'm pretty stoked by the idea of getting to a level where I can play well and I can win games and win ranks and, you know, getting that really competitive games with high level people. Now that of course will involve raising my actions per minute, my RPM rate per minute. That'll involve doing all sorts of stuff, learning strategies, optimizing my decks, relearning card order, because it's been so long now. I just send cards randomly, but a lot of work needs to be done. I do spend some time here and I go through the post game, in case you're wondering. I welcome you to pause it and look through the stats. Interesting, he still outgathered me in resources by a bit, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly, I played this yesterday. I'm recording it today. I was really surprised that he had outgathered me because I was wondering about that. I was like, okay, you definitely were a better civ. You definitely probably had more villagers than me most of the time, but I definitely had a... Oh no, I barely outgathered him. I was gonna say, I barely I had the trade routes, and that was a difference maker. I also I killed him in gathering. Holy crap, never mind. But you can see the point where the trade routes really just kind of took me to the next level. Also, you can see that military units was close. If he had pushed or put pressure on me, it would have been such an easy win for him. So I'm sorry, bro. I don't want to be mean, but you let this game go. This was your game to lose, and you did. Also, you can look at the villager count and see just how bad it got for me at some point. But ended up pulling through, and that's always the kind of games I love. The ones where you think, I'm screwed, but I'm going to play for fun. Not playing to be a dick. Not playing so I can say, alright, I'm going to play forever and, you know, be an asshole and keep you for forever. But playing because it's fun and this is what we do. So, all that to say, some new series coming this summer. Some plans into the fall. I'm stoked. I hope you're stoked. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later. Or not, because we still have a quote from Sun Tzu and the Art of War. By the way, let me know what you think of the layout again. I already asked you, but here we go. Last quote. So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. Ladies and gentlemen, that is from Sun Tzu. I am BTM. Thank you so much for watching. I have enjoyed this. I hope you have enjoyed it, or at least only been moderately miserable. And until next time, good luck and happy hunting. BTM out.